Hello, good evening. Welcome to Axiom Curb Flux News. Today's date's the 21st of January 2015, and you're listening to PG. I've got some articles for you again tonight, straightforward ones this evening. So, my first one is ultrasound, a new frontier in cancer treatment. Doctors in London have started trials of an experimental therapy that might one day become a new way to destroy cancers. By using powerful ultrasound waves, they can burn away tissues in the body and one day tumours without leading to side effects in the patient. The technique is called high intensity focused ultrasound, or HIFU for short, which concentrates high-power sound waves to create heat in the same way that a magnifying glass can concentrate sunlight to burn paper. Some images there for you to have a look at. The technique is called HIFU. That heat can be targeted into the body to burn away tissue where required. Ultrasound is more familiar from medical imaging. It is used in pregnancy scans. For example, in HIFU, doctors use an ultrasound beam that is 10,000 times more powerful. The research is still at an early stage, but if it gets through further trials, HIFU could widen a doctor's arsenal to treat and destroy tumours. So far in the clinical trial at the Institute for Cancer Research and Royal Marsden Hospital in London, 5 patients have received the ultrasound treatment to help deal with the intense pain that occurs when their cancers have spread to their bones. The Royal Marsden Hospital, as shown on the screen here, as the only combined MRI and ultrasound facility in the UK being used for cancer. The HIFU was used to burn away the nerve endings on their bones where they felt the most pain, and so far all of them have shown good results. Doctors can identify where to point the focused sound wave and track the treatment in real time using magnetic resonance imaging, also known as MRI. The Royal Marsden Hospital has the only combined MRI and ultrasound facility in the UK. Professor Gail Tihar will lead the clinical trial with Professor Nandita D'Souza, consultant radiologist at the Royal Marsden Hospital, who said while the team was still learning how best to use focused ultrasound, they believe it has real potential for improving quality of life for patients with advanced cancer. Quoted here, cancers that have spread to the bone can cause intense pain, and further radiotherapy may not be an option. It is early days in our trial, but we hope ultrasound therapy will prove effective at reducing the pain caused by bone metastasis and offer the chance for patients to live the final stages of their lives much more comfortably. Before I take you to the short video attached, I'm just going to get through the rest of the article. This is one of the images. The team believes it has real potential. Moira Rogers was the first patient to undergo the treatment in the clinical trial at the Royal Marsden. She was diagnosed with breast cancer a year ago, which then moved to other parts of her body and into bones in her arm, which caused her intense pain. Being on this trial has meant a great deal to me. It has helped get the pain I was in under control and give me my quality of life back, she said. Trials like these are extremely important, and I'm so glad I have been given the opportunity by my doctors at the Royal Marsden to be part of this groundbreaking study. The HIFU has a long way to go before it could be used routinely in the clinic, and it will not work for all types of cancer. But doctors hope that it could one day sit alongside established approaches to tackling tumours, surgery, drugs, and radiation. The final piece of this article says Martin Ledwick is Cancer Research UK's head cancer information nurse and said he was encouraged by the research. There's been interest in HIFU for some years now, especially in relation to treating prostate and pancreatic cancer, as well as liver tumours. There are questions we still have about whether HIFU is more effective than other treatments and what the side effects might be, but it is encouraging to see more research being done into how beneficial it might be. So I'll play this short video here. Hopefully today we don't get many adverts.
Simple tasks like getting dressed used to be difficult for Maura Rogers. She was diagnosed with breast cancer last year, which spread to her shoulder, leaving her in searing pain. But after cutting-edge treatment at the Royal Marsden Hospital in Sutton, she got her life back.
Having cancer and beginning to feel pain, you're thinking, oh, is this the rocky road to sort of, further pain and more trips to the hospital? And this has helped me believe that pain can be treated and be optimistic about where we're going.
She was the first patient in a new trial using high-intensity focused ultrasound. The ultrasound machine focuses sound waves, very much like a magnifying glass can focus and concentrate the sun's rays. It's able to target the focused ultrasound at nerve endings on the bone, burning them off and relieving pain for the patient. This technique can eventually be used to destroy certain types of tumour. It's been developed for decades by scientists next door at the Institute for Cancer Research. They say it has many advantages.
We only destroy the tumour. We have no effects elsewhere in the tissues. We don't damage the skin as we go through, we just damage our target.
This is where the treatment happens. Now, people normally associate ultrasounds with taking pictures of pregnancies, but the ultrasound here is 10,000 times more powerful. And all of that energy is focused onto problem tissue, which burns cells away.
Thank you. Come in. Come and have a seat.
In the trial, scientists have treated 5 patients so far. They want to treat a further 10. What would you say to a cancer patient who might be thinking, this is exciting, but what do I do with this information?
Watch this space. I'm hoping that this trial proves that we can do this safely and effectively, and that we'll be able to roll it out much more widely. It is something that I think will take its place in cancer care.
Routinely using focused ultrasound in the clinic to tackle cancer is many years away, but this trial is a crucial first step.
Okay, on to my next article. Pledge on cigarette packaging law. The government will bring in legislation to introduce standardised plain cigarette packaging before the end of this Parliament, Health Minister Jane Ellison has announced. The ban on smoking in private cars with children will come into force on October the 1st of this year, the Minister also announced. So, the disturbing images to replace brand cigarette packaging. Smokers in England face buying their cigarettes in plain packets from next year after the government unexpectedly announced that MPs will get to vote on the legislation before the election. Instead of company colours and branding, packets will be covered in stark health warnings and disturbing images showing the damage caused by smoking. The ban on smoking in cars carrying children comes into force on October the 1st of this year. Short video attached here.
It may not be long now before the branded cigarette packet becomes a thing of the past. In its place, disturbing images that warn of the true dangers of smoking. The government tonight finally accepted that it is time to legislate in the interests of children's health.
This government is completely committed to protecting children from the harm that tobacco causes. That's why I'm announcing today that we will be bringing forward legislation for standardised packaging before the end of this Parliament.
It was the influence of this man, Tory strategist Linton Crosby, which Labour claimed led ministers to delay the introduction of plain packaging. His company also did work for the tobacco lobby.
Mr. Speaker, he is the Prime Minister for Benson and hedge funds, and he knows it.
David Cameron always strenuously denied that, insisting the decision had to be backed by hard evidence. A review last year concluded that standardised packaging would reduce the appeal of cigarette packs and lead to a change in behaviour. Overall, it found that the new packaging would lead to a modest but important reduction in smoking. Currently, 200,000 11 to 15-year-olds take up the habit every year.
I'm delighted that the government has finally listened to the thousands of public health experts that have been calling for the introduction of standardised packaging of tobacco for a very long time. We've been pushing it relentlessly from opposition. We've seen many U-turns over the course of the past few years, a number of different reviews and consultations, and I sincerely hope that what the Minister said this evening will become a reality before the general election.
Another sign tonight that ministers are listening to health experts. Smoking in private cars carrying children is to be banned from the autumn.
Okay, so plain packaging move is sheer negligence. Christopher Snowdon, Director of Lifestyle Economics at the right-wing think tank, the Institute of Economic Affairs, has condemned the government's announcement on plain packaging for cigarettes. He said that similar legislation in Australia had led to a growing black market tobacco trade and described the move as sheer negligence. This is a gross infringement of the right of companies to use their trademarks and design their own packaging. There is no need to wonder what will happen next. We need only look at Australia, where the black market has grown and youth smoking has risen. To pursue this grandstanding policy in spite of the Australian experience is sheer negligence. So it's rather limited, really, quite sudden legislation. Just kind of go into detail in several articles attached on this. Basically just talking about different people's points of view. But I guess majority of the people that are pushing this through probably don't smoke. Anyway, on to my next article. Breaking news, well, sort of breaking news. Boy 14 raped as he walked his dog in a park. The victim was so traumatized he was only able to report the attack 2 months later. So a boy of 14 was raped as he walked his dog in a park in broad daylight. The attack happened last autumn, but police say the victim was left so traumatized he has only just felt able to report the attack. The teenager was targeted in the Park Bridge area in Ashton-under-Lyne, Greater Manchester at around 3 p.m. on Sunday, November the 2nd. He said he felt someone put their hand around his mouth from behind after he let his dog off the lead near the Heritage Centre and tea rooms. His attacker then restrained him by putting his arm behind his back. The boy tried to fend him off, but the offender grabbed hold of him and raped him before walking off. The attacker is described as white, aged between 30 and 40, around 5 foot 8 inch tall with pale skin, no facial hair, small legs and a big torso. He had a stubby build and short black spiked hair on top with blonde short back and sides. He was wearing a silver watch on his right wrist. Detective Inspector Richard Ennis said, "This was a terrifying attack on a teenage boy who has been left traumatized by the events. He felt he could not report the attack until now, and we have specially trained officers providing any support they can. I'd like to reassure both him and the community that we have a team of experienced detectives working on the case, and we are determined to catch the man responsible." He called for information surrounding the attack, saying, "I would urge those who regularly use the area to cast their mind back to that day." On the November the 2nd, it was a Sunday. If you did see anyone fitting that description near to the Heritage Centre, or were you approached by someone similar, if you did, please call us immediately. They have increased patrols in the area, and I would ask those who feel concerned by what has happened to speak to their local officer. As part of our inquiries, we will be asking those who run, walk and cycle in the area for any information they may have. Incidents like this quite rightly cause concern in the community, but I want to reassure everyone that we are treating this extremely seriously and now want to hear from anyone who may have heard or saw something. So, that's the world coming to when a 14-year-old boy is no longer safe to walk his dog in a park in broad daylight on a Sunday. My final article for tonight is the Tony Blair. Tony Blair denies his decision on Iraq war led to Islamic terror attacks. Also, the dodgy dossiers in the news lately, the Iraq dodgy dossier. I will be going into that probably tomorrow, but before I do, I shall play this one. It's a short 1-minute video from Mr. Blair.
Suggesting the extremism all comes from that decision. But then we see the extremism in France that, by the way, was opposed to Iraq. And then it's the cartoons. And then you see what happens in Belgium. What is the reason for that? And then you see what is happening in Nigeria or Central African Republic and Mali. And then you see, by the way, when Gaddafi was removed in Libya, we also now have huge instability there. And when we didn't intervene in Syria, we've got probably the worst situation.
Mr. Blair, what's your reaction to the delay in the Chilcot report?
I put out a statement. You can go and see it.
Did you cause the delay?
If you're invited to the voting report.
Do voters have a right to know the contents of the report before the general election?
I've just told you I've put out a statement, so you can go and read the statement.
Well, I reserve my comments on that one. Over to you, Andy. Welcome. Glad you could join us.
Yeah, I missed your first article or so. What can I comment on? Well, I caught the plain package cigarette legislation.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, and all I can say there is, sorry, total bull crap, nanny state. It's nothing to do with looking after people and their health. Total bull crap, same old rubbish. Education, not legislation. There you go. All right, that's all I can say.
And the ban on smoking with children in private cars coming into effect on October.
Again, education, not legislation.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need for that. I mean, you can go across the board with. I would include drugs, as all drugs, not just illegal drugs, but pharmaceutical drugs. Again, education, not legislation, and across the board basically. Anyway, I've wore that out a bit, haven't I? But That's what it comes down to. And if you're not going to get it from the dogma and the doctrine that which you won't get, all I would suggest to people is to do their own thing and do their own research. And as for legal stuff, well, it's a game of words, isn't it? Anyway, moving on. The last bit you got there with Tony Blair, as you say, as we all say. Did you see where he was doing that speech from? World Economic Forum behind the back of his head.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
I did notice that, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, his decisions to go into Iraq, a totally unlawful and illegal war, by the way, as everybody knows, which won't be the you know, it's not a decision, is it? The Chilcot inquiry. It's just for everything to come out, apparently, but it's not going to come out.
Well, that was my first article on the screen shown, and it's the ultrasound, a new frontier in cancer treatment. I'll just play the quick video so you can get a little grasp of what it was.
I caught that. I caught the video.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I caught the video of it. You're talking about an extreme amount of upping of the output here.
Yeah, 10,000 times more powerful. And it's to burn the nerve endings on the bones to cause less pain for those, you know, cancer patients where the cancer is spread to the bones.
This is not a cure, this is a treatment, yeah?
Yeah, it's therapy. Experimental therapy. Well, it's a trial.
Yeah, well, again, why don't they do that and have a poster at the back saying Economic Forum, World Economic Forum? You know, it's just, I might say a bit contentious, something a bit, you know. But again, it's not about finding the cure, because they don't want one, basically, I don't think. I don't know, this particular piece, maybe it might relieve some pain for people that are suffering with cancer and that sort of thing, where this might come into in use and might benefit a few people. But there are other ways that again, go and educate yourself.
There's only a handful of people who this has been trialled on so far, so it's very early stages, Andy.
Well, knowing what ultrasound and low frequency can do to the human body, I'm not surprised, because if you have any accident with that, then anything can happen. So, but again, I'm not an expert in that. But yeah, I get the idea of it. Yeah.
Okay, so would you like to share your screen, Andy, if you've got multiples?
Yeah, we'll do. Right, and get them up. There we go. Okay, let's go on to here.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yep, that's our old friend again.
Oh, the infos.
The info warriors. Well, it's big letters, and my old eyes are getting bad.
Can you not see the gold, Andy?
Yeah. Russia and China furious. Well, actually, I did comment about this a few days ago. I have done a couple of comments in the last month since we've been going, 3 weeks, whatever. It's just to carry on the theme down that road, because things are really, really starting to unfold. And I've done it again, PJ. What's the matter with me tonight? Russia and China furiously buying up gold as a global currency crisis, albeit unstated, is underway. Are you prepared? Is anyone? Brace yourself. Right, we'll go down here. A larger global currency shift is underway, and it may happening much more quickly than anyone has realised. Things are definitely in motion. Call it a game of musical chairs, or an exercise in rearranging chairs on the Titanic, or just a tilting balance of power. Just don't make the mistake of thinking it's all routine. As Michael Snyder just reported, The absolute stunning decision by the Swiss National Bank to decouple from the euro has triggered billions of dollars worth of losses all over the globe. And this is what I covered the other week. And these are just the losses that we know about so far. It will be many months before the full scope of financial devastation caused by the Swiss National Bank is fully revealed. But of course, the same thing can be said about the crash in the price of oil that we've witnessed in recent weeks. These two black swan events have set financial dominoes in motion all over the globe. At this point, we can only guess how bad the financial devastation will ultimately be. And I knocked it again. Here we go. Oh, it's really playing up tonight. The key to understanding how the hammer will fall may lie in gold. In the material world that governs politics and economics, there has always been one golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. Put China at the top of the next generation of rule makers then. China has been quietly stockpiling gold for years now. In fact, it is stockpiling so much gold that many have speculated that it may be building a gold-backed yuan currency that would make the dollar pale in comparison on the global market. Buying surreptitiously allows Beijing to buy bullion at bargain prices. If the world knew how much China was really amassing, a run on gold, the likes of which the globe has never seen, would likely ensue. We believe China is controlling the gold price because it is buying in such a way so as not to push the prices up. That's the opinion of respected precious metals analyst Julian Phillips of the Gold Forecaster, along with a host of other informed sources. It is widely believed that China has accumulated larger, possibly much larger, reserves since. Lots of other countries are rapidly buying up gold too, including Serbia, Greece, Ecuador, Mexico, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. But reported no one is buying gold at a faster pace than Russia. Back in August, it was reported that Russia's increase is the most dramatic. According to the recent report from the IMF, the Russian central bank has almost doubled its gold holdings within the last 5 years to 1,094.8 tons in June of this year. China's central bank followed with an increase of 75% from its holdings in 2009. Country's tripled its gold reserves since 2005 and is holding the most since at least 1993, IMF data show. It goes on here, so it's quite a big article, I won't do it all. There's little doubt that gold plays a major factor in Russia's post-global showdown that involves proxy war, military tension in the Ukraine, Syria, Iraq and other parts of the globe. So it actually just goes from that, they're stealing the hegemony because they know that there's a currency war on. And everybody's trying to devalue their currency and everything. So trying to do it in an anti-inflammatory way, anti-inflation way, I suppose you could say. But anyway, China was quietly declared war on the US worthless dollar, but can you blame them? They already have it in place. Chinese yuan swap facilities, which started the non-US dollar trade prices years ago, and they've also set up the BRICS. So I won't read it all. Germany's already called for their gold, and they've only had 1 ton, not a lot, delivered out of quite a lot that the American are holding. Apparently, the Bank of England's meant to be holding tons, 600 tons of gold being held by the New York Federal Reserve, and only 5 tons have actually been transferred across the Atlantic at the start of 2014. With the Bundesbank reassuring the German people that all is well despite delays in the process. I don't think America's got it personally. No. I know the Fed doesn't keep any.
Yeah, Yeah, that's what I thought. The Federal Reserve didn't have any gold, but is it because of Fort Knox? Is it? If you want to scroll up a little bit under.
Which one? Down this way?
On the page, no, just up a little bit further up.
I suppose I should have. It's a lot to read this article.
Yeah, it's quite in depth. I did note there it is. Fort Knox's gold is now an asset on the Federal Reserve balance sheet, which is probably why the Federal Reserve have got a bit of gold.
Well,
I'm surprised to know that the UK's got any. I'm really surprised.
Yeah, well, the UK's meant to be holding quite a bit of the German gold.
Ah, okay.
That's what it says here.
Well, the Swiss, they're taking everybody else's shopping carts. The Chinese and the Russians are pushing each other's, one another's shopping carts, and the rest of the world are left without a cart to push.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, exactly. 438 tonnes at the Bank of England in London and 307 tonnes at the Banque de France in Paris. So apparently, the Bank of England are holding 438 tonnes of German gold. Apparently, I thought Brownie sold it all. And Brown's bottom, whatever it is.
That's what I thought. I don't know where China got theirs from, if that's the case.
Apparently, the Dutch have got this back from New York, so it says here. Anyway, going down to the bottom, and now the Swiss. The recent shock announcement that the Swiss are decoupling from the euro is the latest domino to fall and could set off the long-feared chain reaction. Many are asking if it signals the end of the euro as a currency, and if so, what else after that? The Swiss have vowed not to allow the franc to rise beyond 1.20 francs per euro. With the removal of the cap, the franc soared as much as 30% against the euro on Thursday, an unheard of move in the currency markets. It tells the world loudly that a global currency crisis, albeit unstated, is underway. That Western economies and Western sovereign debt is so out of whack that the only ammo left in the arsenal is currency. Currencies are now being sacrificed, see, in an effort to save economies, and the only winner in that environment is gold. If possession is said to be 9/10 of the law, and he who has the gold makes the rules, what does that tell you about the fiat currencies, digital currencies, and the balance of global power? Are you prepared? Is anyone? Brace yourself.
Money creation and society.
Yes. So there you go. It's all coming to a head, and if people are not prepared, then they've had their head up their backside.
And they're going to start to get scared.
Oh, I don't think. I think most of the sheep won't know what hit them as usual. Anyway, going from that to this, if I can get in a bit of news. It's not conclusive, and I don't know why I said, but it is. I just found it a little bit interesting. World exclusive: alien radio signals detected in space. Scientists confirm. It's not a very big article, PJ. UFO researchers and alien enthusiasts have been saying it for years, but now it's official. Alien signals are out there. Australian scientists captured alien radio signals in real time coming from space. It's a world first for scientists who have never been able to, until now, capture any signals in real time. Because we were able to catch the act, as opposed to existing data sets, we were able to reveal that the radiation produced by the FRB was more than 20% circular polarized, and this suggests there were strong magnetic fields near the source, said lead researcher Emily Petrov. News.com.au. The circular shape of the waves recorded was clearly foreign. Radio bursts from Earth are usually one plane, and these were two. Mr. Petrov said the origin of the source remained a mystery, but the resources believed it had to be huge, cataclysmic, and up to 5.5 billion light years away. There are two competing models to explain the phenomenon, she said. One suggests it's caused by the collapse or explosion of a star in another galaxy, while the others suggest it comes from some sort of energy flaring from a neutron star. However, both of these could be incorrect and could be something entirely different. Mr. Petrel said the observation was made by the Parkes telescope, a 64mm diameter parabolic dish used for radio astronomy in New South Wales. For the project, we had the telescope pointed at the location where one of the previous bursts from the data was recorded, she said. It was so exciting. We know a similar occurrence has happened in the proximity of the first. After we recorded it, the main project team pointed 12 other telescopes from around the globe to the exact spot where the event took place, but none of these saw any afterglow. While the source of the alien signals remain a mystery for now, what do you think it might be? The collapse of a star or an alien life forms trying to communicate with us? Comment below. There you go. Circular polarisation, or 20% circular polarisation. If we've got time, I'll just very quickly, I did touch on this the other day, but going from possibly aliens to aliens, and this is about the world's top richest people, after the shocking report that the richest 80 people in the world revealed. 35 of them are American citizens. Basically, Oxfam reported, done a report the other day about, here it is, the charity is also, Oxfam found that 388 billionaires have the same amount of money as the bottom 50% of the Earth's population in 2010. Charity report also said that the richest 1% of the population will own more than half the world's wealth by 2016. And that's what that report was I commented on the other night. Oxfam said the world's richest people saw their share of global wealth jump to 48% last year from 44% in 2009. You've got the 80-odd people that owns more than half the world's population's wealth. And they look like aliens, don't they? Look at them. What's he had plenty of old embalming fluid put on there. Drop of the only for only men, so can't see the grey. Little goatee beard, look. Looks like a young wife. What's this thing? Warren Buffett. And here comes the deadly Koch brothers. They've got quite large noses, haven't they? That might be something to do with their habit.
What, the smell of money?
Yeah, exactly. Or something else. We'll leave it to people's imagination. Here, look, there's a top 10. Bill Gates, America, Microsoft, 76 billion. Carlos Slim, hello, Mexican. Grupo Carso, Telecoms, 72 billion. Arancio Ortega, Spanish. Fashion retail, 64 billion. Warren Buffett, American, 58 billion. Larry Ellison, American, 48. Charles Koch, American. David Koch, American, 40 billion. Sheldon Adelson, American, 38 billion. Christy Walton, American, 37 billion. Jim Walton, American, 35 billion. There's a bit of a repetitive theme going on here with the old Americans, isn't there?
They've got a lot for something that doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, this is all bollocks. Excuse my language. Sometimes I do swear, but I mean legal bollocks.
Hey, I'll give you one guess at who's at number 15.
Richard Branson.
No. Mark Zuckerberg.
Well, say no more.
Another American.
Yeah, face ache. Another American, yeah. I forgot of my train of thought now. It was quite important. Where was I going, PJ? Where was I going with this story?
You were just expanding on the other day, just going through a few names and telling us what it's all about, really.
Well, it's all rubbish.
Play
It's
that
all rubbish.
little video, Andy. Give that little video play.
Yeah, I don't. Let's see how long it is first.
A little bit too long. couple of minutes or something. Like it's only a minute and a half.
I don't know if it's going to play, PJ, because I don't.
Yeah, just no audio though.
Not going to happen, PJ, I don't think.
No. Is that your final article, Andy?
Yeah, just very briefly on this, what I say, it's all total codswallop, because they're not the richest at all.
No.
This here, look, this is a load of propaganda rubbish, right? It's all propaganda rubbish, right? Because the world's richest people are the ones that have an infinite supply of money.
Yep.
Now, that might sound a bit strange to anybody, some people. Well, that means there is no limit to how much money they can print. There's a clue. The people who run the banks, people behind the banks, right, they can print as much fiat currency as they like. So they have an infinite supply. So there is no world's richest because it's infinite. It's you can't put a figure on it because there is no stopping to it. These are just play actors for Joe Sheeple to go, oh look, Bill Gates, he's a philanthropist, you know, he's doing it. It's all total crap. It's all total rubbish. The whole article was rubbish. Apart from perhaps a bit about Oxfam, maybe they collected their data or whatever, but this is a game of propaganda like the Daily Fail online and all the rest of them.
I'm gonna compete with you here, Andy. So I'm just gonna take the screen off you.
Yeah, go on then. Oh, let me. Yeah, if you can.
Just to bring you to this, it should be showing on your screen now. Yeah.
Hang on, I'll stop my screen.
6.4 trillion.
Right.
Aggregate wealth. Today's winners.
But that's how can that compete against an infinite supply? It can't. You can have one.
The 15 look pops today.
I think these are all ill in the head, these people. I think they're not well. They've got to be sociopathic to want to accumulate, you know, all this. Well, you know.
I'm sure they disagree.
Well, I'm sure they will disagree, but the thing is, all sociopaths think they're not doing anything wrong by being, you know, meaning. How can you accumulate that amount of wealth when there's, you know...
It's like Simon Cowell.
Millions of people dying of starvation in the world and poverty and some people working for less than 1 cent a day. It's just pure, you know... anyway. But you know what I'm saying, PJ.
A never-ending list of billionaires upon billionaires.
Yeah.
There you go. If you want to check this list out, it's on Forbes' website. Just before we go, Andy, we got a video sent in from one of the viewers, and I don't know if you've seen this video yourself, but it's a 37-second video, so I'm going to play this. Let me know what you think.
Yeah.
せーので。そこ大事だから。ちゃんといい？じゃあせーの。まだかな？あれ？あ、なんか。あ、なんか。
There you go, Andy.
Well, yeah, it's quite easy to explain. Telephones, mobile phones transmit very close to the microwave frequencies. And if anybody knows what a microwave does, what do you do? What does people have a microwave for? They have it to cook meals, right? So basically, what you've got there is 4 phones stuck at each other, all turned on, and it's causing enough heat inside the popcorn to make them pop. Imagine what that's doing to your brain cells inside your head.
Do you think you could cook some food that way, Andy?
Well, you could probably cook your consciousness out of your brain and end up a complete zombie like most people walking about today are, you know? Well, they seem to be. I mean, I'll tell you off air what happened to me tonight, and a bloke who couldn't be bothered to talk to me because his dog had almost attacked our dogs because he was off a lead, and he wouldn't get his head out of his smartphone, and he wouldn't look me in the eye. But I'll tell you more about that afterwards. Yeah, okay. Everything's done by. If we can't revoke any comments, I don't know what with what we've done tonight. If not, then maybe the little smart microwave sets have done their business.
Maybe. Well, I'm going to leave this list because it keeps on going and going. It just won't stop. So I've had enough of that. But anyway, yeah. Please leave comments if you've got anything you'd like to ask or say to us, and we will try and respond on one of the episodes of Flux News. But until then, we'll say goodbye and take care as we do. Any final thoughts, Sandy?
That's it. Good night.
Alright guys, catch you later.